Hello everyone, my name is Veritas and welcome to probably the only video I'm going to play of Ghosts. Now, I have the DLC and things, so if you didn't pre-order the game, you don't have this. If you did, good. We're going to play this and we're going to get into my opinion of Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, as the title says, this game had a ghost of a chance at being good. It was hated a lot when it was first announced and things and such. As you know, they played way too much on the next-gen technology of it, even though this is a current-gen game. I'm going to trade it in for the Xbox One version at a later time. But, you know, it was hated on fairly early on. People were just like, no, it ain't going to be good. Don't even try. Stop it, Infinity War. You just make yourself look bad. They did. In this game, I'm nearly completed the campaign. Probably should have done that before I made the video about it, but the campaign to me is decent. It's pretty good. Haven't finished it because I got to a point where it was just like, do I have to? And it's never a good thing in a campaign when it's like, oh god, do I have to keep playing? Now, that's only because it kind of made the ending battle seem really complicated and time-consuming, and even though it's probably not because it's COD, and if you know you're not completely on ADD pills by now, you probably should be, but, anyway, the multiplayer is probably the more important thing than the campaign. People were like, there's a campaign to a COD game? Really? So, we'll get right into the multiplayer, and I'll describe to you what I think of that. The multiplayer feels a lot like if Infinity Ward tried to make a Black Ops game mixed with, I would say, Modern Warfare 1, based on a friend's description of what another YouTuber decided to say, being Hutch, I believe. Mentioned that this likened it to Modern Warfare 1, which I can see completely as being true. Another thing that I noticed is it literally, to me, in my first couple games, I noticed it feels a lot like if, like I said, Infinity Ward tried to make a Black Ops game, in that it feels like nothing really works, but it all kind of works together not right. Like, just because one thing doesn't work, you know, let me rephrase this. In Black Ops games, Black Ops 1 and 2, there are obviously guns that aren't good. And by that I mean you can use them and they aren't good. Like, you know right off the bat that there are a few guns in Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 that people just don't use because they're terrible. Like the S12, I believe, was the shotgun, or sorry, the M1216 or whatever the hell that was. The last shotgun in Black Ops 2, no one really used it because it wasn't good at its job. Being a shotgun, it wasn't good at it. People didn't use LSATs or things like that. There were just obvious guns that were better than others. There were like the noob weapons, if you will. There were always guns that you could just use and always get kills with by spray and pray or just ease of use. At least that game had guns that you could spray and pray with ease of use. This game, however, decided to take a different turn, where every single gun, it seems, is terrible. And to remedy that, other games would have you unlock things at levels, or as you play, you get more tokens, like it did in Modern Warfare 3, or as the other games did, you just unlock them at levels. You had a plethora of games to play at the beginning, or weapons to use at the beginning. You didn't just have a single gun or a single type of weapon. You could use like one of two assault rifles, one of two LMGs, one of two SMGs, one of two shotguns, one of two snipers, and so on. You know, a riot shield maybe, or a tactical knife if you were silly. You had a wide range of available options to start playing with. The problem with this game is it starts you off with one of two assault rifles. Now, that's fine for those that like assault rifles. For other people that like to use LMGs, like myself, I'm very much a very heavy gunner, very heavy explosive kind of player in this game. I like to run around with an LMG and a rocket launcher and blow shit the fuck up. Pardon my obviously not French, but I'll say it anyway because I'm an American like that. But it had weapons that you could choose from. You could play a bunch of different styles, and you could fit it to your style. And then as you used more of that type of weapon, you unlocked more via level or tokens or what have you. Or you could purchase them somehow. I honestly don't remember exactly how Black Ops 2's weapon unlock system worked, but that's weird. I'm Master Prestige in that game. You'd think I remember how the weapons got unlocked, but anyway, I'm about to die from being cranked. Hello. Thank you. Anyway, but in this game, you have one of two assault rifles, which right off the bat, to me, is a little bit stupid. You know, you should be able to have a bunch of different weapons that you can use, at least one of, you know, each of the guns, but you don't. The other thing about the system I don't like is that as you play, every rank you increase is 2 squad points or something along those lines. I still haven't figured out exactly how this shit works. And I've been playing it since it came out like a week ago. But you unlock squad points, so you unlock points as you level up that you can use to buy guns, attachments, modifications, things like that. So down there you can see 2 squad points at the next level. Or as you play games, I don't really know how it works, which is another problem. It's confusing as hell. Like, this system, it works for Black Ops because it showed you what you could do. In Modern Warfare 3, you had to, you know, you picked each thing and you didn't get anything less or anything more. But in this, like, if you get rid of your secondary, you can get another perk, which is cool. I love this. This is my favorite part of this game, is the perk system. I absolutely love the perk system, where you can fill up your bar with perks as you know, you can deviate your perk points, I guess you would call them, on different things, and you can, like, bend it to your game style. I love that. The only other thing in this game that I like that they implemented is the sliding. And that's not even because it's useful in combat. It's not. It's just fun to do. So, one of 2 things that I actually like about this game have nothing to do with the actual in-game gameplay. Because sliding isn't really helpful when you're running around on these maps. It's more of a hindrance because you have to slide, and you have to, you know, remember the combination for that, which is just holding down B. But by the time you get into a slide and you get out of it, it's kind of like when you dolphin dived in Black Ops, or, you know, dove in Black Ops. You have that moment of, I can't shoot, I'm weakened here, and such things as that. The other thing is, going back to the create a class system, or whatever you want to call it in this game, it's just incredibly, I don't know what you would call that, ridiculous, I would say? I don't know. But it's just, you don't have an option to use many different weapons in the beginning, so you can't tell what guns are good and what guns you don't like to start off with. There's no way to tell, hey, are the shotguns good in this game? Or are the, you know, assault rifles good in this game? Are the SMGs, LM, you know, anything? You can't tell because it doesn't allow you the freedom of choice when it comes down to what you want to start using. So you kind of have to play, start it out with 1 or 2 assault rifles in the custom class, and it doesn't really help you through what exactly buying a squad member does. And each squad member has their own loadouts, and then you can customize your soldiers to look different or do different things, which is all fine and dandy if it made sense. Now, I can understand it because, unlike most COD players, it's not my main game. It's not the game I go to every single day to play. In fact, Ghost is probably one of the COD games that I regret buying, due to how broken the multiplayer is. So even if you skip past how confusing it is with the squads and the things, and everyone having their own loadout, and everyone having their own points with their different camos and things, moving into customization with mentioning camos is, the camos in this game are not at all as, like, oh my gosh, I worked really hard for this, as they were in previous titles. Namely Black Ops 2. Now, I'm not a fan of Treyarch, and I say that even though World at War was my favorite multiplayer COD, but I've not been a fan of what they've done with multiplayer in the past, in their Black Ops series thus far, because it never really felt right to me, and that's just an opinion that has no bearing on this video whatsoever. Just wanted to voice that right out there in the beginning, so people are like, you're just a hater. Yes, I don't like Treyarch. Or their Black Ops franchise, I should say. But moving into the camos, is in Black Ops 2 they did something right. They made camos they made you want them. They made camos something that you would want to work for to get. And then they had the special unlock, which is Diamond, and it's like, hey, if you play this enough, look what you get. And that was a really good idea. Now, you didn't have to go for Diamond. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't even have to play that game. But when they did that, they made you want to do it. They made you want to play it for the camos, or, you know, do certain things, 150 weapon kills with no attachments, things like that. In this game, the camos are really looked over. Now, I know that Treyarch has always been better with online customization with the emblem editor and things like that, and whereas Infinity Ward has stuck to their system of unlocking certain emblems and calling cards for your player card that you can just throw on there and try to make new fancy combinations with stock images and things as things like that. I understand that completely, but it's still something that doesn't really seem necessary. In Modern Warfare 2, they had a really simple system where it was just headshots, which I don't really think anyone really liked all that much. But like I said, Treyarch's been better with customization, so I'm not necessarily going to fault them for that. But when it comes down to getting camos in this game, or trying to customize your gun other than putting attachments on it, it doesn't feel very rewarding to get 75 kills and then 150 kills, while crouched, and then, hip fire kills or point blank kills. I think one of the major things that they screwed up on is making camos and things like that require you to do things in the game that you wouldn't necessarily do, which makes sense for like a customizable unlock, but at the same time doesn't really fall, it kind of falls through, like get kills right after sliding or get kills when the contextual lean. The contextual lean is incredibly rare to actually do in run-around combat because it's so just, like, you have to pause and then wait for the arrow to come up, and then you can use it. But even if you are using it, you have to aim down, which doesn't really work with half the guns in the game, because most guns in this game are literally slated to be hip-fired, some of them having built-in silencers or, built-in red dots or things like that. Or there's even an LMG that literally you can't even aim down a sight on, but, that's just how the gun is, so I'm not going to really complain about that too much. Now, moving out of customization and create a class and going into kill streaks, or whatever you want to call them. Score streaks, kill streaks, point streaks, assist streaks, whatever you want to say they are. And especially since I've been killed by the guard dog or Riley about 5 times now in the game, the kill streaks in this game are surprisingly well balanced. They're actually surprisingly well done, which has been something that Infinity Ward has failed at in previous iterations of this title. The main one being Modern Warfare 2, which had my favorite system where you could, use kill streaks to get more kill streaks. It made it really easy for people to, made it really easy for you to get to the kill streaks, and it really made it more fair, because since when you die, it resets, and that's always been a problem for me, because in these titles, I've never been able to stay alive very long, either through the obvious reasons like controllers being modded, hacked lobbies, things like that, or down to the point where it's like I'm just having an off day. Now, when it comes down to things like that, you can't really control what goes on, but you can control if they patch their game, which Infinity Ward also has not been very good at. At least, it really feels like Treyarch makes a really fantastic game and then patches it to be like crap because people complain about the things that are actually good. Namely, the Black Hat in Black Ops 2 was fantastic until they patched it. You heard about the death threats that the leader designer, whatever the thing, got when he decided to patch the sniper rifle to have like a literally unnoticeable change to the fire rate or the reload time. Things like that. Treyarch changes things in patches that makes the game less desirable and worse. Whereas Infinity Ward makes a game that's kind of crappy and then eventually, hopefully, will patch it up to be good. I don't necessarily remember if they did that very well in the past. I can't really speak to that because I'm not necessarily sure if they fixed Modern Warfare 2's bugs all that much. I remember the Javelin glitch and things like that. But moving into the kill streaks in this game, like I'm getting sidetracked, so I digress. The main kill streak in this game that I think that they really fell through on is the guard dog. Now, I'm not saying if you run assault and you get 5 kills every 2 seconds and it's like, hey, I keep getting to call in Riley, this is fantastic. That's wonderful, good for you. The problem is it's overpowered by the user. It's not balanced when it comes to online play. And even in the campaign when you get to use Riley, it's not like it's overpowered because it's campaign. You can't have an overpowered thing in campaign. It just makes no sense. That's like complaining that you get a power-up in Pac-Man. It's there for a reason. Use it, stop bitching. Now, when it comes to a multiplayer version of Pac-Man, if you got a cherry or a pellet or whatever, and it made you stronger, it wouldn't be really fair now, would it? No. So my issue when it comes to Riley as a kill streak is that he's overpowered. Now, when I say overpowered, I don't mean he's like, running around getting you a tactical nuke. In air quotes, I say that because there is no nuke in this game that we've found thus far, or a secret Moab or thing like that, which is also something kind of interesting that Treyarch has done. And also Infinity Ward, I believe, with Modern Warfare 3, they did a Moab. I think Treyarch did something in Black Ops 1 or something that was similar to that. I'm not necessarily sure. I don't remember. A COD comes out every year. It gets confusing to keep them straight. So moving back into Riley being a problem for me is that he acts a lot like what the attack dogs would do in previous iterations of this title. Now, I think both Infinity Ward and Treyarch have had their share of attack dog sequences. It might have been just a Treyarch thing. I remember that being in Black Ops 1 and 2, I believe. I don't remember if it was in Modern Warfare 3 or not. So, like I said, I'm not gonna speak to things that I don't necessarily remember all that well. I'll just mention them and hope to God that I'm right. Since I am trying to make this as possibly official as an opinion as I can. So when it comes down to Riley being a thing, it's fine, except he's a little bit overpowered when it comes down to the problems we had with attack dogs in the past, where their lunge is incredibly distanced. They have, not obviously there, but you'll be if you get into the same room as Riley, he'll teleport to you and immediately kill you. And also, I think that the contextual lean changes your hitbox. That's interesting. I'll have to go back and look at that again in post to see if I actually hit him or not. But when it comes down to things like that, with attack dogs, it was really hard to hit them in the past games. And with Riley being something that you can call in at 5 kills as opposed to 11 or so, whatever it was before, and being around you at all times, he has a reach that's a little bit over his necessary limits. If you call him in, I've called, I think, Riley in about 3 times so far, and every time I do, he doesn't really do anything. He just kind of wanders around the map, which is not what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to stay by you and protect you from enemies that are near. He's supposed to be almost like a claymore, and he whines if someone's aiming at you. I have no idea how he killed me. But, he'll whine if someone's aiming at you. He'll whimper and point towards the person that's aiming at you and things like that, which is a really good system of aiding close up, but not a good system when it comes to him attacking you across the map. I know that people have been talking about how Riley is a little bit overpowered because, he has a jump of 36 feet or whatever. I've heard things in the chat when I'm just sitting around in games and things like that, people complaining about him. But other than that, they did a really good job implementing him. I think the one other thing about Riley, besides the fact that he acts like an attack dog, which means he's really hard to kill, which makes no sense to me, for one. He's almost like a juggernaut to try to kill, which to me makes no sense. He has an overextensive reach when it comes to lunging or attacking, which gives you usually no time at all to defend yourself against him or even try to shoot him, which is a lot like a juggernaut would be, like one of the juggernaut maniacs in this game that just knifes you instantaneously without any chance of you actually killing them. The other thing is he blocks doorways because he is a item. He acts like a teammate, but he's not smart enough or enough of a troll like a teammate would be to just block a doorway or block you in a corner on purpose. He does it because he's not moving, because his master isn't moving, because his handler's not moving. This has been a problem a few times. I've seen where a friendly guard dog will stand in the doorway because the player is, sitting in a corner waiting for an enemy to come around, or they're just standing there because, they went idle after calling him in, and Riley will be sitting in the doorway, and you get pinned in a room, or you get pinned in a hallway or something like that, and by the time you turn around and run, you're being mowed down by the enemy team, who is catching you with your pants down because the dog is in the way. That's a main problem. So, I don't really necessarily know. I think that, that really comes from my personal problem with Call of Duty having solid teammates. I much prefer the system in Team Fortress 2 to go back to that, or if you don't know about that, that's one of my favorite PC games, where your teammates you can pass through, but the enemies you can't, which plays into the system with a spy, but that's, that's TF2 system. I really like that implementation because it would solve a couple problems, like people pinning you in corners and being trolls, Riley being in the way when it comes to doorways, teammates being in the way when it comes to doorways, getting stuck and then, getting killed with your pants down in doorways, rooms, corners, things like that. It'd make it easier to get to, flag locations, It would make the game much more mobile, but people would then complain that it's not realistic because you can't run through your teammates in real life. But it's like, COD isn't really that realistic, so stop trying to play to that and just make your teammates, translucent, something like that, to make you be able to walk through them. That'd make the game much smoother, in my opinion, and then you wouldn't get stuck on people and things like that. So I'm not going to, talk to that forever, but you need to fix the attack dog, quote-unquote, aspect of Riley to be more of a claymore and less of a overpowered single-person attack dog. So other than that, going down to just the core gameplay of Ghosts, it's not necessarily the best game in the series, and I know that that's been a major problem online, that it's been kind of rough. It's not polished. It's in need of fixing, which I completely agree with. I don't necessarily remember. I think Treyarch is the one that has issues with hitboxes when it came down to Black Ops 1 being an atrocious game for actually killing people when it came down to it. But this game feels a lot like, like I said previously in the beginning, it feels a lot like Infinity Ward tried to make a Black Ops game because it's so difficult to actually hit someone. Now, not necessarily saying in the previous game, because you saw I shotgunned a fair number of people, but the people that don't die when you shoot them, or turning a corner and immediately dying, it plays to two problems. Guns either being cheap or overpowered, or the system of balancing being broken, which obviously it is, because it has been in every single Call of Duty before it's been patched. And it comes down to hitboxes, to you aiming and shooting and getting hit markers when you should obviously kill someone. Now, if this barrel was a person and I did this and I shot them, you can see that my spread goes completely into that person. Even at this distance, the spread's completely in them. Moving, it's the same thing. Yet when you're actually facing an enemy player and they're moving, you're moving, you aim in and you shoot or you hip fire, no matter what you do, more than half the time you won't hit them. There's another example of why Riley is overpowered. He may have been running with that teammate. I doubt it. But, that's because he just runs around the map and does whatever he wants, because he is a single-person attack dog. Anyway, moving into other things, it feels very unpolished, because it is new and hasn't been patched yet, except for, obviously the experience exploit that was found immediately before the game was even released to the mass public, and other things like that being a major issue. So it's like I said, it's unpolished, it's broken, it really is. If you played it, you've probably had your fair share of complaints with it. The guns being overpowered, and there's probably a reason why one of the perks is to give you more ammo than you really need, because you really only need about 3 bullets to kill about an entire enemy team. When it comes down to certain guns in this game, like the Honey Badger and other things like that, it literally takes you maybe 1 or 2 bullets in the chest to kill someone, which is a little bit stupid to me. It shouldn't be that easy to kill someone. If with a shotgun, maybe. With a sniper rifle, they need to be fixed too, because the hitboxes with sniper rifles is atrocious. Doesn't matter if you shoot them once or 3 times in the chest or the head, you're not going to get a hit. Unless you're fucking lucky. Pardon my obvious American French again. But, I mean, with its problems, it is a Call of Duty, and Activision has already slated that they're going to be releasing another one in next year, which isn't really a surprise, because there's been a Call of Duty out every year for the past decade. So it's not necessarily a surprise that they're going to come out with a new one next year, and people will buy it, people will complain, they won't fix it, and, whatever, it's going to be the same thing every year. So if you really want, if you share the same problems with this game that I do, where it just handles like crap, it just doesn't feel right until they patch it, which is an issue, because they don't, because they're slow. And going back, I don't necessarily know if I mentioned that, but it feels like Infinity Ward makes a game that's broken and it has to be patched to be able to it has to be patched to be able to play it. Treyarch makes a game that's amazing and playable, and then patches it to quell the whiny people of the community, and it ruins the game. That's my opinion. Treyarch is good at making a game, then they listen to the community too much and ruin it. Kind of like what happened with Gears of War. Gears of War 3 in particular, they listened to the community too much, changed things way too much, and ruined the actual game in doing so to make a few people happy, which is playing to the least common denominator, which is why the Xbox One has so many problems. So now that we've covered everything that's controversial in the gaming community, aside from, I don't know what else would be controversial besides Call of Duty. I don't know, if I said Battlefield's better than this game, would it cause people to get angry? I don't really know. But, I mean, like I was going to say, if you're looking for a game that plays more to honest hitboxes, good gameplay, good teamwork, if you're looking for a game it's like if you were imagining a perfect Call of Duty, this is the best way to say it. If you wish to play a Call of Duty multiplayer game that is reminiscent of World at War, Modern Warfare 1, or I think those two are about it. If you want a game that feels like you can actually do something in it, go play Battlefield 4. Or 3, honestly. That one works still, too. Those are the games you're going to want to play and not Call of Duty. The new ones, at least, I'm going to have to preface that. The new Call of Duties are not very well made, which makes it so you don't really want to buy them. But you will anyway because they're a new game to play. So, I mean, when you combine all the things like... there's really no in-multiplayer need to want to actually unlock camos. There's no real customization besides the characters, which even when you're playing as a new soldier, it's not really that big of a deal. They played up the whole, like, you can customize your soldier so much, but they completely forgot about your guns. You don't see your soldier in the game, you see your gun. So make your guns a little bit better as customization options go. Maybe peel away from the whole player aspect. Maybe make it kind of like how Halo works, where it's like you have a few options when it comes to customization, but at least in Halo you actually get to see your Spartan every once in a while. In this game you basically never do until you die, which I guess is a lot because you do die a lot. So every time, I customize my soldier, I get to see him or her whenever I, flop on the floor from being shot with a honey badger through a wall with one bullet and immediately dying for no apparent reason. If that's your style of game, then stick with it. I try not to be biased as much as I can. I grew up as a first-person shooter genre of Call of Duty, so it's kind of annoying for me to see how the game has been progressing all these years. But if you're looking for a game that plays like Call of Duty promises to play, you're gonna want to go buy Battlefield. That's my best advice, and I know I hate saying it like people do. They're like, oh, just go play Battlefield if you want a realistic shooter. Things like that. I hate being that guy, but when it comes down to it at the end of the day, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for Battlefield. So I'm not saying go play it instead of this. I'm just saying if this disappoints you, Battlefield probably won't. And they probably Call of Duty would be better if they didn't, force out a new one every single year also. So, that's my opinion. That's my overview of the game. To reiterate, it feels like Infinity Ward tried to make a Black Ops game. It doesn't have a lot of customization. The things that are customized aren't necessarily necessary to gameplay, or you don't see them very often. The kill streaks are very well done. None of them I've found are overpowered. Even like the Loki systems, which I've gotten once by stealing a care package. I'm sorry for the person I stole it from. Even that didn't really work all that well because it was balanced. I mean, it was fixed. It wasn't crap. They did a really good job with that, including these rockets. I love this Moz thing that they've invented for the support kill streak. It's a fantastic weapon. It's good for aircraft and killing many enemies at once. But anyway, I'm done here. So I just wanted to give you guys my opinion on it because I've been playing these games forever now, and it seems like every time a new one comes out, people complain. So I figured I'd try to give a good 30-minute video apparently on my opinion of this game in all things like that. Anyway, so we're gonna play I might not even play to the end of this. So yeah, that's about it. So if you guys have any comments or any other things you want to mention that I might have missed that you've also found being a problem besides next to everything, then go ahead. Oh, there's one more thing I forgot to mention, and it's not about the actual gameplay necessarily as your person. It's more of just how the game works. I think one of the other issues when it comes to aiming and killing your enemy in this game is that it's the maps versus what your character looks like. It's really hard to discern them. Moving back to Modern Warfare 2, when you ran through a map, you were incredibly obvious as an actual player. Like, you knew when it was a player running and not just like a bush moving. In this game, actually this is the only Call of Duty I think it's ever done this in, where you actually move through your environment and you can sit around in like a bush or go prone or something, and it's actually hard for you to discern what's a player and what's the map, which is a good and a bad thing because it makes it harder to kill people but makes it easier for you to kill others. So take that as you will. It's a good and a bad thing. I don't like it, but that's a personal opinion, and not everyone's going to agree with it. So this is like the only freaking Call of Duty that actually has a good implementation of how you look in the map, and I'm getting sick of being killed by 1 or 2 bullets in this game. It's just ridiculous. So I'm done forcing myself to play until they patch it because it's not very appealing to me right now at all to play. So, like I said, if you're looking for a good game, play Battlefield. If you're looking for a Call of Duty that's kind of broken and not patched right now, play this. I mean, it's whatever you want. So yeah, that's about it. I'm not going to talk anymore about it. I think I've covered everything now that I've gone back and thought about it again and again and again. One last check. Kill streaks, customization, soldiers, maps, things like that. Yeah, that's about it. So, if you guys have any comments or questions, for whatever reason you have a question, or anything I missed that you found to be annoying, any of your quarrels with this game, yeah, if you have anything else you want to add to the list of things that they should fix, like make a game over the course of 2 years instead of 1 or maybe 5 years, like GTA, I don't know. Something. If you have anything to add, leave a comment. If you like the video, then leave the corresponding rating in the thingy below. I know the comment system is broken as hell. I apologize for that. If you guys do leave a comment, I'll try to find out wherever the hell it's going now. I know it's going to Google Plus or something weird like that, but it's impossible to find this shit. Thanks, Google. Love you. Anyway, so that's about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Veritas and Filler Killers, everyone. Like I said, comments, ratings, that thing, if you really want to. If you feel it deep in your groin, you just want to give me a comment, go ahead. I'm not gonna do anything about it if you don't. So yeah, until the next video, whatever that may be, really just have a great day, everyone. Hello. Why don't you die?